Hey, it's Kyle McMahon. Welcome to episode 41 of Pop Culture Weekly with Kyle McMahon. And I, of course, am Kyle McMahon. So I have a very special episode today. As you know, you're now getting 2 episodes this week because of a really cool project that's happening tomorrow, which is Saturday, April 4th. Starting at 7 p.m. Eastern, it is Comedy Gives Back Laugh Aid. And what Laugh Aid is a fundraiser for comedians and related people that, are going to need some help through this pandemic. All of their, gigs have been canceled. They're not making money at this point. So what Laugh Aid does, it's a 4-hour live streamed event. And you can get it on Twitch and Twitter and Facebook, Comedy Central's YouTube, and on Access TV, where some of the biggest and best and brightest comedians in the game today are doing their thing and making us laugh. And, if you feel so compelled, you can go on there and donate $5, $10, $100, $1,000, whatever you want to do. And it is going to go to help the comedians that make us laugh all year. So I have 2 very special interviews today. One is with Patton Oswalt himself, who he is a Emmy and Grammy winning comedian. He's been in everything. He's so funny. And then I interview Gina Yashere, who you may know from The Daily Show as the British correspondent, or the first British comedian, the only British comedian that has been on Def Comedy Jam. And of course, she is the writer and co-creator and producer and stars in Bob Hearts Abishola, which was created with super producer Chuck Lorre. So I talked to both of them. I really hope that you enjoy today's special episode of Pop Culture Weekly with these 2 comedy geniuses. Here you go. So I have with me via phone, because we're social distancing, the one and only, the Grammy Award winning, the Emmy Award winning Patton Oswalt. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today and talking.
Oh, man, thanks for having me on. Where are you right now?
I am in Delaware right now, which is on lockdown. So we're making do,
Are you home or in the studio? Where are you?
I am at the studio at iHeart, which, we're technically essential personnel, so I can come to the studio and then go back home.
But everyone that's there is following protocols, distancing, stuff like that?
Absolutely. There's actually nobody else here. It's just me. It's an empty building.
Huh.
Yeah.
And you're able to run things, but you can broadcast there, or you're just recording this?
I'm recording it, yeah, and then we'll edit it and get it up. But yeah, I mean,
awesome.
I can just do it all myself. So.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
So how are you handling all of this?
I'm doing basically what everyone else is doing. I'm staying home and trying to, work out of my house during the day. No new tale to tell. It's what everyone else is doing right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's very crazy what's going on, and it's tragic as well, which, brings us to a very cool thing that you are doing with some other huge, heavy-hitting actors and comedians, and that is Laugh Aid, which, tell me about that. I think this is such an awesome idea.
Laugh Aid is, from what I understand, it's a thing we're broadcasting online on Saturday, comedians doing sets or sketches or I don't know, whatever they feel like doing from their homes, and it's all going to be broadcast, and then I guess it raises money for wait staff and employees of comedy clubs and, people that are need that kind of assistance right now, because everybody is, really hurting, especially service industry people that were kind of out there risking their lives anyway, but while this was going on right under our noses, even though we weren't being warned about it. So hopefully this will help to ease, cushion the blow a little bit, for the time that they're going to have off not making any money.
Yeah, and so it's, a 4-hour live stream that will be on Twitch and Comedy Central's YouTube and Facebook and everywhere, Twitter. And it is, a fundraiser, essentially, where the proceeds are going to Comedy Gives Back and their COVID-19 Emergency Relief Fund, which is such a cool thing. Because as you said, it's the people we often forget about that are hurt the most by things like this.
I know. It's always, I think everyone gets so busy dealing with their own existential panic and weirdness that they forget that there's people that are not dealing with existential fears. They're dealing with actual, hey, I might not be able to buy food fears. So let's kind of try to cut down the overall gloom and terror by helping those people out.
Right.
I think is the idea.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's interesting that with everything going on, the people that we have kind of demonized, not to get political, but the people that we have kind of demonized about wanting a more livable wage are now the people that are essential employees to feed us.
That are keeping us alive. Exactly.
Right.
The ones that we were like, I don't know about, do they need $15 an hour in healthcare? Clearly they do.
Right.
And it's so kind of showing us in macro right now, America has been ground to a halt financially because of a medical emergency, which is what a lot of these people deal with on a personal basis all the time. They're worried that if they get one medical emergency, they're suddenly going to, go bankrupt. And now we're seeing it happen on a countrywide, national scale. Maybe let's, start by helping people out at the bottom.
Absolutely. And that's why I love this, I love the idea that of this, giving back through Laugh Aid. I mean, because these are the people that, as you said, it's not just the, huge comedians that we all know, like you and Ray Romano and Dane Cook and all that are, hurt by this, but it's the little guys that are touring that, you might not have heard of until you just happen to be at that comedy club. And
and I don't want the potential for some great career for some emerging artists being hurt by, losing half a year of stage time, half a year of wages, and, having that much more tension and fear put on them,
Right. And not just that, but the people, as you said, the people that are bringing food at these comedy clubs and the waitresses and just people that, really, really could be one paycheck away from starving, essentially.
Exactly.
So thank you so much for doing such an awesome cause.
I was very, very fortunate to get to contribute.
Do you know what you're going to be doing yet?
No. I have no idea. I probably won't even know till the day. I don't know yet.
Awesome. And that makes it more exciting, I think. Nerve-wracking, maybe, too.
I hope so, yeah.
So let's pivot for a moment. You have it's easier to read a list of things that you haven't worked on. You have done everything, movies, TV, specials, audio, is this all just an outlet for your creativity? Doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's also just a way for me to get to do more stand-up. I'm not trying to get out of doing stand-up, so it all goes back to, giving me the freedom and the wherewithal to do more stand-up comedy. And
is that your ultimate love?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I love that. So really all of these things have just been showcases bringing people back towards your stand-up.
Yes, that's the idea.
I love that. What has been some of your favorite projects that you've worked on? And you've done literally everything, Will and Grace and Ratatouille, and just so many awesome projects. What has been your highlight?
There's been just too many to name. Obviously getting to be in Ratatouille was great. The TV show Justified, the MST3K revival.
Yes. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
There's just so many different the Adult Swim shows that I've done, a lot of the animation. And I mean, again, it's just too long a list. I think the favorites are always end up being in the mind of the viewer. They're the ones who pick. It doesn't really matter what I like the best. It's what resonates the most with the people that consume it.
Right. And where do you get your inspiration for your comedy from?
I mean, too many sources to name. It's just waking up and living a life, I guess.
Right. And are you like constantly writing or jotting down notes?
Yeah, that's what all comedians do. We're always thinking of jokes and, stuff like that.
And how do you, or are you like writing them in your phone, or do you have like a notebook, or what's your process?
I have a notebook, but basically I just kind of go up on stage with just general notes and concepts and just I do my writing on stage by performing.
Wow. That isn't like, that would be insanely nerve-wracking for me.
That's how a lot of comedians do it, though. I mean, that's how you get the most, I guess, conversational way of delivering your material, and the way that it resonates the best with listeners.
And then you just kind of mold it from there. If something doesn't work out the way you thought, you can just change it for the next show.
Yeah. You just kind of it evolves more conversationally and more organically, and so it feels more like you're just sort of talking to. You're recounting a story and connecting one-on-one rather than here I am reciting this written-out bit.
Right. That's awesome. Well, after all of this settles, what are you going to be working on next?
I have no idea. No one knows. We don't know when this thing's going to settle. So everyone, I think, right now is just kind of embracing the blankness, and then we'll see what's on the other side. And right now it's more day by day.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, Patton, thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to seeing your set and everybody's set for Laugh Aid. Yeah, this is going to be so cool. I mean, and what an awesome way to give back. And you don't even have to leave your house to do it.
I know. Exactly. I'm not complaining.
There you go. Patton, thank you so much. When your next project comes out, please, let's talk again.
You got it. Thanks, man.
Thank you, sir. Awesome guy, right? He's so funny. I love everything he's in. I love his stand-up comedy. He is just a comedy genius. So next up, I have Gina Yashere, another comedy genius. She's so smart. I absolutely love her. So I really think you'll enjoy this conversation. How are you doing today?
Considering the circumstances, pretty good.
Good. Good. Yeah, it's a new world, I think, right now. But
it's mad. I feel like the universe is just telling everybody to sit the hell down so she can get a breather. Yeah. I think that's what it is.
Yeah. Quickly, I wanted to go over some of your pretty incredible background. You were born in London. You worked as an elevator maintenance technician before you got into comedy, right?
Yes, I used to build and repair elevators. I studied electrical electronics engineering, and that was my job because I came from a family that only had a certain number of career choices. African families are like, you got to be a doctor, lawyer, engineer, or disgrace the family. Pick one. I picked engineer.
And then what led you from that to comedy?
You know what? At school, people always told me I was funny. I was always the class clown. It's the typical story, but I never considered it as a career, never even crossed my mind, never even thought it was possible. And after leaving Otis, I worked for Otis for 4 years. I left Otis, and there was it was in the summertime. So I was like, well, they were making people redundant, and I asked to be made redundant. So I asked to be laid off because it was a payoff. And so I took the payoff because there was loads of engineering jobs, and I knew I'd get another job soon. I was, early 20s. I was young. So I thought, I'm going to take the summer off. It's summer. I'll take the time off and spend that money that they've laid me off with, and then get another job come winter. And it was in the summer that I started doing all the things that people said, you should do. So I tried the stand-up. I did a couple of open mics, and before I knew it, people started going, you're really good. Here's $5, come and do my show. Here's $10, come and do my show. So I was enjoying it. And I was like, I'll go back to work once this thing dries up. And it just never did. I never went back to work.
And that's great news for all of us and for you. And then you ended up doing live at the Apollo, Tonight Show with Conan. You were the first British performer on Def Comedy Jam, which is pretty sick. The only British.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
It was so fun. I mean, literally, I moved over to the States in 2007, and I got on Def Comedy Jam within 2 months of arriving in the States. Yeah, so and I wasn't even meant to be on it. I was just in a club, sitting in the room, watching other comedians, because it was very hard to get shows in LA. And so I just sit in the back of the room or sit and watch the other comics as they got on. And then if there was a comic running late and I heard the comedy club manager going, "Oh, this so-and-so's late," I'd go, "Well, I'm here. I'm a comedian from England. I can go up and do 5 minutes while the other, until the other person gets here." And that's how I was getting shows. And that's basically how I got Def Comedy Jam. I happened to be in the room. A comedian went up, crushed. And the comedian who was supposed to be next actually didn't want to follow it because he didn't want to look bad. So I was like, "Well, I'm here. I'll go up and do a few minutes." And they let me go up. And I didn't, unbeknownst to me, the Def Comedy Jam bookers were in the room and saw me do a set. And that's how I got the gig.
Wow. You were ready, willing, and able with that hustle, and it paid off.
Yep. I stay ready.
So, and then you became a Daily Show correspondent. How did that come about? That's so awesome.
Again, another, just being available. I never auditioned for it. I never applied to it because Comedy Central tends to skew a lot younger, and mainly younger and whiter. So I didn't. So I never really auditioned for the show because I didn't think I'd be in with a chance because I'm older than their demographic. But I've known Trevor Noah for a little while because we both are world-traveling comedians. We've bumped into each other all over the world. I bumped into him in Asia doing shows. I bumped into him in Australia doing shows. So we had a similar experience of just traveling all over the world doing comedy. So when he first moved to New York, we used to sit at the Comedy Cellar in New York and talk about our experiences of being sort of African background comedians coming to America and just working in the States. So that was, fast forward a couple of years later, he gets the Daily Show and I suddenly get a text on my phone one day saying, "Gina, hey, are you in New York?" And I'm like, "Yeah, who's this?" And he's like, "It's Trevor." And I'm like, "I'm from England. I know about 26 Trevors." Trevor. And he's like, "Trevor Noah." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I'm here. What's up?" And basically he goes, "I'd love you to come and do some correspondent stuff on the show." And that's basically how I became the British correspondent.
That's incredible. That's really incredible. And then, of course, now you have created a show with Chuck Lorre, Bob Hearts Abishola, which is on right now. How did that come about? And you star on it.
Yeah. It sounds like everything just happens to me out of the blue. But obviously it's because of my work ethic and the stuff that I'm putting out that people just see it and it's just how the universe has turned this way. I get a call out of the blue from my agent in, I'm going to say, July 2018. My agent calls and says, "Chuck Lorre wants to meet you." And I'm living in New York at the time. "Chuck Lorre wants to meet you. You need to fly to Los Angeles." So long story short, I fly to LA. I get in a room with Chuck and he's there with Eddie Gorodetsky and Al Higgins, who are his two main collaborators. And Chuck says, "Well, I've got this idea of a TV show for Billy Gardell. Nothing's written down yet. It's about a guy who falls in love with a Nigerian nurse. And we'd love you to help, to consult on it, because we don't know. We're three white guys. We can't write a show. We're half the cast is Nigerian. We've got no idea. So can you consult and help us write this thing?" So I basically stayed and started helping them create the characters and giving them culture, the ideas of the culture and what the characters would say, what they wouldn't say, what their names would be, all that kind of stuff. And then as a comedian, obviously, I start coming up with jokes and scenarios and stuff. And then I'm actually helping them write the show as well as consulting culturally on stuff. And after a couple of days, Chuck says, "Look, we can't write this show without you. Do you want to stay and help us write this pilot?" And so I went from consultant to co-creator, producer and writer like that in 2 days. So then we stayed and wrote the pilot. So as we're writing the show, my dream as a comedian has always been to be the funny best friend on somebody's sitcom. That's all I've never dreamed to be a movie star. All I've dreamed is to be the funny friend or the wacky neighbor on somebody's sitcom. So as I'm writing the show with these guys, I'm thinking, I need to write in a wacky friend. I need to get a wacky friend in there. So I was like, I said to the guys, you know what? Abishola needs a friend. She needs a friend. And we created this character, Kemi. And that's basically how I got the role, because eventually we were casting the show and the guys were mistakenly thinking that I wanted the role of Abishola. So Chuck comes in and says, listen, we're casting the show. If you want the role of Abishola, you can audition for it if you want. And I was like, I don't want the role of Abishola. I want the role of the friend, the woman on the bus. And Chuck looks at me and goes, you're very smart. Basically how it worked out.
That is so awesome. And then, of course, now you're a big, huge brand, and you are lending those talents to Laugh Aid, which is really an awesome thing. And it is going to be a 4-hour live streaming comedy event. And it's supporting Comedy Gives Back's emergency COVID-19 fund, which is so awesome. It's going to be helping, comedians that are not at your level, that need help with medical and mental health right now, and substance abuse. Tell me about that.
Yeah, it's basically because as a self-employed person, as a comedian, and especially if you're not fortunate enough to get a regular radio show or regular TV work, all you're living is live comedy. So especially in this current time with COVID-19, all the comedy clubs are being shut down. So all self-employed people are being affected by this, and comedians specifically. And we tend to, when I first got to this country as a comedian, I couldn't get healthcare. You couldn't get healthcare. You couldn't get any of those things. So a lot of comedians don't have that safety net. And that's what Comedy Gives Back and Laugh Aid is about. It's about helping those comedians who don't have that safety net and whose income and livelihood has been completely wiped out by this virus. I'm also in a similar boat, but I'm in a slightly better position because I'm on TV right now. But the show, we lost the last 2 episodes of the show. It got shut down, so hopefully we'll come back for season 2. But I had a load of live work booked out for the next 3 months, and it's all gone. But that was only a portion of this year's work. But for most comedians, live work is their daily bread and butter. So they've got no income. So they've still got mortgages and rent and bills and bills and stuff to pay for. So this is kind of, providing a little helping hand to them.
And what are you going to be contributing to the show?
I've done a little pre-recorded sketch. I mean, I can't tell you too much, but let's say that I'm a little bit of a germaphobe and a little bit OCD. So I've been living the pre-apocalypse life for a long time.
I cannot wait.
Because if anybody follows me on Instagram and Facebook will know that I do these things called Gina's hotel rooms, and I review every single hotel room I stay in and how I clean everything and cover everything to avoid touching surfaces because I'm grossed out by hotels. So basically, people used to laugh at me at some of the steps that I used to take, but now everybody's doing what I've been doing for years.
Right.
So that's basically premise of the sketch that I'm the little bit that I'm doing for Laugh Aid.
I love that. And from a inspirational point of view, I love that artists are contributing their art to not only help people in this time just from laughing, but can actually financially help somebody by, if you've enjoyed watching the show, watching, Laugh Aid, donate $10. And that $10 could put food on somebody's table.
Exactly. I mean, if enough people donate a small amount, that will help comedians. Because people overlook comedians a lot, but we provide entertainment, we provide levity in these times. We're all online putting up sketches and telling jokes and just trying to keep people entertained and stave off the anxiety of the current times that we're living in. But a lot of us are struggling, emotionally, mentally and financially.
Yeah. Yeah. Gina, thank you so much. You are so hysterical. You are so amazingly talented. And as Chuck Lorre said, and I think it's probably has more weight coming from me, you are so smart.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And please come back on for your next project once season 2 is on, and we'll be talking about that.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care, Kyle.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right.
Again, hysterically funny. Love her, Gina Yashere. You can watch both of these amazing comedians live on the 4-hour live stream from Comedy Gives Back called Laugh Aid. And again, that's Saturday, April 4th at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. on Pacific time. And anywhere. I mean, you can, it's literally so many places that you can watch this, from Twitch to Twitter to YouTube to Facebook to wherever you can think of that streams. It's going to be on there. Check out more at comedygivesback.com, and you can get the whole lineup. I mean, there's Dane Cook and Ray Romano and Howie Mandel and Eliza Schlesinger, just a whole bunch of awesome, awesome comedians that are going to be doing what they do best and making us laugh and raising some money for some people who could use it right in this pandemic right now. Thank you all for hanging out with me and listening. You know you mean the world to me. You make the show better every single week. I will see you next week. Keep in touch with me on social, at KMac Music on Instagram and Twitter, at Real Kyle McMahon on Facebook. See you there.